Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the New York Yankees and the Atlanta Braves play a spring training exhibition game. The pitching matchups tonight for the Yankees, left-hander Dave LaPoint, and for the Atlanta Braves, another lefty, Tom Glavine. Hi, everybody. I'm Tommy Hutton, along with Bobby Murcer, and we want to welcome you on our initial Madison Square Garden cable broadcast in a long association that we hope is a happy one with Madison Square Garden and the New York Yankees. But first things first, let's get the baseball, Bobby. The Braves are in town. Jeff Blauser, the young shortstop who has been talked about, this might be another showcase for him.
Well, every day it seems that this youngster's name is being brought up around a Yankee camp. This afternoon, Sid Thrift says that the #1 priority right now is to try to shore up the shortstop job. Now, with this youngster, Jeff Blauser, they want Roberto Kelly from the New York Yankees, and that's the decision that the Yankees have to make. Do they want to give up their starting center fielder, possibly starting center fielder here with the New York Yankees, in Roberto Kelly in order to get the youngster, Jeff Blauser?
Well, one decision the Yankees did make, they made a trade prior to this ball game, sending veteran right-hander Charles Hudson to the Detroit Tigers for veteran utility player Tom Brookins. What can this do for the club?
Well, it gives them some added depth over at third base. Mike Pagliarulo has had a pretty much of a tough spring, and he's not hitting the left-handers that much, so it gives a right-handed bat at third base and a veteran there.
All right, there you have it from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The Yankees and the Atlanta Braves coming up right after this.
Here it comes, the Slammin', Jammin', Rip-Roarin' Good Time Video. The NBA's dazzling dunks and basketball bloopers. And the only way to get all the fun is free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. See your heroes fly through the air with the greatest of ease and land just about anywhere they please. For 45 minutes of all the right stuff, they'll give it a whirl and give it a heave. And if you hang around long enough, you'll see things you won't believe. Call this number now and get every jump, jam, slip, slide, and slam. You can look high and low, but you won't find a more fantastic show. Call now, and you won't miss out on your free video or the 25th anniversary edition of the famous swimsuit issue. It's an entire issue devoted to 25 years of the best in swimwear. And you'll save almost 50% off the cover price. 25 issues payable in 3 monthly installments of only $9.89 each. And you can charge it. Call the number on your screen right now to get your free video, the swimsuit issue, and save on Sports Illustrated.
New York Yankees baseball is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered for real draft taste. It's as real as it gets. By the Tri-State Jeep Eagle dealers of New York, New Jersey, and Fairfield County, where you can always expect the best. And by the Wiz. Remember, for everything in home entertainment, nobody beats the Wiz. The Yankees have taken the field here in Fort Lauderdale as Dave LaPoint, the veteran left-hander, starts to crank it up and get going.
Well, Tommy, Dave LaPoint was racked around his last time out. He has a record of 0-1, a 10.45 earned run average. You can see that he's only got 10.1/3 innings pitched, but he's given up 19 hits, and that is a lot of hits.
All right, Bobby, thank you. Lonnie Smith about to step in, and here's a couple of guys who over the years have probably faced each other every now and then. First pitch of the ball game, foul back, and we're underway here in Fort Lauderdale.
Chief.
We had a threat of some severe thunderstorms in the area, but it seems, and I don't want to jinx us, Bobby, but it seems that we have escaped that, and everything's going to be all right this evening. Another strike as Smith fouls that one off, and quickly Dave LaPoint gets ahead 0-2.
Well, the Yankees did not take batting practice this afternoon here on the main field. They went behind left field, where they have 2 full fields out there where they both teams took batting practice.
LaPoint misses inside as he tried to go there with that 0-2 count. And we don't know where the Braves took batting practice. They didn't show up till about 6:30. I believe they took BP up in West Palm Beach. High fly and foul down the left field line, and Ricky Henderson will run out of room.
I think the Braves probably figured that they would like to take batting practice starting right now. Lonnie Smith blowing some bubbles out there. Dave LaPoint facing Lonnie Smith. He knows that Lonnie Smith knows that LaPoint's going to be around the plate all the time. He's not the kind of guy that's going to strike the hitter out, so he's going to be right around the plate, and Lonnie Smith knows that he has to be ready.
1-2 pitch, off speed. Smith just gets a piece of it and fouls it at the plate. Good changeup by Dave LaPoint. It's a pitch that he tries to throw to the right-handers. He'll turn it over. It's not a straight change. He just turns it over to right-handed hitters. Another 1-2 pitch. That time he came with a fastball and missed upstairs.
This is about the time in the spring training period, where the pitchers begin to, let it all air out.
2-2 hit on the ground, and it's bobbled by Yankee third baseman Mike Pagliarulo. He just throws it to LaPoint, knowing that he had no play at first base with the speedy Lonnie Smith.
Well, one of the problems that the Yankees have had here into the spring is the fact that they are making a lot of miscues, and Pagliarulo has really been fairly sloppy around the third base bag. Now, one of the things that'll just kill this pitching staff is the fact that they're not the kind of pitching staff that's going to strike out the hitters. They're going to put the ball in play, and if the defense is not behind them, they're going to have all kinds of problems.
And a good look at the young shortstop, Jeff Blauser. Yeah, you've heard his name before. He takes a strike. Jeff Blauser, the young shortstop with the Atlanta Braves, and all during spring training, ever since the beginning of spring training almost, his name has come up in possible trade talks with the Yankees. But you can't forget about Lonnie Smith at first. He has excellent speed. He's going. A good test for Slot. His throw is picked by Steve Sachs. What a play. Don Slott's throw was quick enough in time, but he threw it low, and it was a nice play by Sachs to stay with it.
Yeah, you got to give Sachs a lot of credit on this one, because Slot had to hurry his throw down to second base. You see Lonnie Smith take a little peek at Don Slot, but here's the nice pick by Saxon in the tag. We have to give him 2 outs on that one.
It's one of the things that Don Slot has worked on this spring, the quickness with the feet, to shift those feet and get the target directed towards second base so he can make that throw. And even though the throw wasn't on target, he got it there quickly, and it gave Sachs enough time.
So if you don't have a good arm, you better shift the feet real quick and get that ball down to second base.
Actually saw Don Slot the other day talking with Jeff Torborg, manager of the Chicago White Sox. 0-2 changeup. Blauser chases it, and LaPoint gets the strikeout.
I don't think LaPoint really wanted to put the pitch where Blauser swung at it. He did take a lot off of it, but the pitch was upstairs. He wanted it down a little bit, but he had the 0-2 count, so he got Blauser to chase the bad pitch.
Gerald Perry, a 300 hitter last year for the Atlanta Braves. You look at his spring training average. That's right about where he wants to be at this point. Game just underway. Top half of the first inning. 2 men out. Perry hits it high and hard. Right field. And foul. A good look at it by Dave LaPoint. And he's glad it's foul. And also a good look by the first base umpire, Bill Hahn, as Gerald Perry will just stroll back to the plate. Young umpire Bill Hahn, we talk about spring training with ball players. It's spring training for umpires. Bill Hahn, a National League umpire, and there are a couple of openings this year in the National League.
Well, they only use 3 umpires in spring training instead of the normal 4. But yes, it is spring training for everybody. The players, the umpires, the broadcasters, you name it. Front office.
It's really spring training for Sid Thrift. He just got here. Pitch inside to Perry. 1-1 the count. LaPoint back. Chopper by Perry gets through the infield. And when you're a 300 hitter, doesn't matter. Left-hander, right-hander. Gerald Perry just stays right with it, gets the base hit.
Gerald Perry also has decent speed at first base, so LaPoint will have to keep him close.
Had 29 stolen bases last year, and you don't really look for that a lot of times from a first baseman. Dale Murphy still trying to put things together. He had a very rocky season last year for the Braves, just a .226 average, 24 home runs, which is low for him. And he misses that off-speed pitch by LaPoint.
And he still struck out 125 times last year, too. But there has been an awful lot of talk surrounding Dale Murphy and a trade to somebody. I mean, the Atlanta Braves, I think that they're ready to trade Dale Murphy. They're trying to bring in some young people, trying to establish this ball club. They've been in transition, I think, about the last 10 years.
off the end of the bat. When you're struggling, those are the kind of hits that help you. Going over to third is Gerald Perry easily, and Murphy gets that single to right field off the end of the bat. He cued that one up pretty well.
Two different pitches. Well, actually, the same pitch from Dave LaPoint in two different locations. The first one, Dale Murphy missed. That was down low. The other one, that one there, was up in the strike zone, which allowed Murphy to get a piece of the bat on it, and that's all you need to get a base hit.
And that just shows the difference and the fineness of this game of baseball. If you miss up or down or in and away to a hitter like a Dale Murphy, you have to be glad he only had the single, not a home run. So the Braves have a couple of runners on, 2 outs for Jody Davis. Davis came over to Atlanta from the Cubs right at the end of the season, and happy to be with the Braves. He is a resident of Georgia, so he lived just outside Atlanta. Happy to be back home and be the Braves catcher. 2 outs, no score, top half of the first. As LaPoint threw to first, Gerald Perry tried to sneak down that third baseline a ways. Which is something a runner can do with a left-handed pitcher, because his back is to that third base runner. There's the 1-0 pitch. Good fastball right there to Jody Davis. 1-1.
I think they're going to give Jody Davis an opportunity to hit this ball. I mean, they don't want anybody thrown out at third base or second base on a steal. They want to give Jody Davis an opportunity to get 3 big runs if he can with this 1 at bat.
Off the end of the bat, a roller to short. Espinosa flips it onto Sachs, and that'll do it for the Atlanta Braves in the first inning. No runs. They did have a couple of base hits. The Yankees made an error. We'll go to the bottom half of the first inning. 0-0 the score here in Fort Lauderdale.
You begin in Anchorage in the bitter cold of winter, continuing day and night for over 1,100 miles across the Alaskan wilderness. Finally in Nome, victory is achieved. Experience an adventure unlike any other, the Iditarod Trail Sled Dog Race on ABC's Wide World of Sports, Saturday.
Swim with sea lions, glide with an eagle, catch some rays. All this and more on Jim McCarver's World of Adventure, Sunday on ABC Sports.
Good look at Atlanta Braves left-hander Tom Glavine as he loosens up. Will it, Bobby Murcer, give you an eye on the New York Yankee lineup for this ball game this evening?
You saw the innings pitched by Glavine. Let's take a look at this Yankee lineup tonight. Ricky Henderson. There it is. Ricky Henderson leads off and will play left field. Roberto Kelly batting second in center field. Don Mattingly in his familiar spot at the third spot, and will be playing first base. Gary Ward, the designated hitter, in the cleanup spot. Don Slott, the catcher, batting fifth. Steve Sachs will bat sixth this evening, and he will play second base. Mike Pagliarulo at third base, batting seventh. Alvaro Espinoza, the shortstop, batting eighth. And the switch hitter, Stanley Jefferson, in right field, batting ninth.
Well, the young left-hander who has 2 more days before his 24th birthday, Tom Glavine. Glavine has a fastball, a change, a slider, and now he'll try to feature those to Ricky Henderson as he stands in. Ricky has had a tremendous spring training. He's been hot, and he's just carrying things over from last season. Glavine misses with that first pitch, and it's ball 1.
You may see an outstanding year by Ricky Henderson. He is on his free agency year. And I don't know whether the Yankees want to sign him right now or wait and just see just exactly what kind of year Ricky Henderson is going to have.
That's always a good debate, Bobby. People say, can a player really turn it on when it is the last year of his contract and knowing that he's going to be a free agent? Because you hear that talk so much. 2-0 pitch. Ricky's turning it on, and he gets a base hit to left field. We'll watch for Ricky to run with nobody out. No score. We're in the bottom of the first inning. One of the reasons Dallas Green has had Roberto Kelly in that number 2 spot the last couple of ball games, he feels he will get Roberto some better pitches hitting behind Ricky Henderson.
And in front of Don Mattingly. Yeah, with the speedster on at first base, you're going to get more fastballs as a hitter.
off the hands. He tied him up with that breaking ball. Glavine almost throws it away, but a nice play by the second baseman, Mark Lemke, to keep that one in play. One down. It's one of those plays as a pitcher, you just have to tell yourself, make sure of one.
There you go, Rick.
Well, the catcher's there. He's got the play in front of him, and he's the kind of guy that is talking to that pitcher saying, go to second base, because he can see the runner, and he can see whether he has an opportunity to throw the runner out at second base. Of course, you always want to get the lead runner if you can.
Especially when you have a Don Mattingly coming up. Mattingly had his first spring home run yesterday in a ball game in West Palm Beach against the Expos. And here's a look at it. He turned the win around at Municipal Stadium in West Palm.
May have been his best at-bat this spring.
Hit it off left-hander Neil Heaton. You can't relax when you're a pitcher after Ricky Henderson has been erased from the base paths. You still have to contend with Roberto Kelly if he gets on. And that is the one thing that, one of many things that the Yankees like about Kelly. That's why there's so much question, Bobby. You hear the talk, Kelly for Blauser. Do you want to give up on a young prospect, and in turn you're going for another prospect in an infielder such as a Blauser?
And the way the Yankee outfield is right now, they've got some decisions.
There goes Kelly. Can Davis throw him out? No chance at all. Backed up by Lemke, and Roberto Kelly gets the stolen base.
Big jump by Roberto Kelly, and he had an eye on Glavine, the left-hander. Davis had no chance of throwing Kelly out at second. So now Mattingly has an opportunity to put the Yankees out in front.
And the good hard slide by Kelly straight into the bag.
To me, I could look at that situation one of two ways. After this pitch, I'll tell you what I think about it.
All right.
With the runner on at first base, yes, we know Kelly has good speed, but that also takes away that big hole between first and second for a guy like Don Mattingly, where the first baseman has to hold the runner on. Now, you've got to make sure that you can steal that base with a Don Mattingly up there. You almost got to give him at least one swing at it or one try to knock the ball in between the hole to get a base hit.
I think the other thing, you consider the fact that it is Don Mattingly, too. Breaking pitch misses, and it's ball 3. Maybe another left-handed hitter, a guy who's a good pull hitter, a Pags, perhaps, who hits the ball in the hole a lot. You would want him to stay there, but with Mattingly, who can drive him home, you would be a little more free to take that chance and steal second base. Looked like Tom Glavine wanted no part of Don Mattingly. He walks him. The Yankees have runners at first and second for Gary Ward.
That may be a problem here in 1989 if Winfield doesn't get back. The fact that will they pitch to Don Mattingly, no matter whether there's a right-handed batter such as Gary Ward batting behind Mattingly. How many good pitches will he get to hit? I don't think he'll get a whole lot.
I don't think so either. Gary Ward can change things if he gets hot. There are some left-handers in the American League that would probably rather face a Gary Ward, a right-handed batter, as opposed to Don Mattingly, a lefty.
I'm sure there's a lot.
No score, bottom of the first inning. Glavine takes a little bit off that pitch and misses with it. Ball 1, 1-1.
Glavine, just a fastball, changeup type of pitcher. Not the overpowering kind, but he's got to be perfect. He's got to move the ball around inside and outside. He's working on a curveball, and if he can come up with a good curveball, he will certainly be able to be more aggressive earlier in the count on these batters.
And Kelly has him thinking as he dances back and forth out there at second base. One is outside. 2-1. The key for a pitcher to keep that runner close is to try to change your rhythm. Look back there once, maybe the next time look back twice. Tell you what the Yankees need out of Gary Ward is something what he did in 1982 with the Minnesota Twins. 28 home runs and 91 RBIs. 2-1 pitch, and it's...
Somebody missed a sign.
Oh, they've got Roberto Kelly in a rundown. Ron Gant, the third baseman, chasing him back, putting the tag on him, and I think Roberto Kelly missed the sign. Don Mattingly had sprinted off first base towards second, and all of a sudden when he looked up at the bag, he saw Roberto Kelly there.
But that doesn't mean that Roberto Kelly missed the sign. It could have meant that Don Mattingly missed the sign. You can see Ward swing and miss. Kelly now gets caught in between because he sees Mattingly out of the corner of his eye coming down to second base, so he said, maybe I should have taken off. I don't know. We can't tell who missed the sign, whether it was Kelly or Mattingly. But nevertheless, that is a base running mistake. And with the offense that the Yankees is throwing out there right now, they cannot afford to make too many base running mistakes.
These are things that do not make Dallas Green a happy man. 2-1 fouled off. The way Gary Ward swung at that pitch that Don Mattingly took off on, I'm going to think that it was a hit and run, and that Mattingly, the veteran, got the sign, and Roberto Kelly, the youngster, did not get the sign. And Dallas Green is sitting there saying, what can we do to solve these problems? 2-2 changeup makes it ball 3. 3-2.
Signs are really not that difficult. You just got to pay attention. And believe it or not, I think signs are the worst thing in the world a player can do, in fact, when they miss signs, because
3-2 foul back our way, and it'll stay 3 balls and 2 strikes.
You only get a sign once in a while, and most of the time the manager with the third base coach, who is Lee Elia here with the Yankees, he makes it so simple. If you make it so tough, what in the world does it prove if players cannot get a sign? So they basically they make the signs real easy.
Another 3-2 pitch, and it's outside. Ball 4, and once again the Yankees have runners at first and second, but this time with 2 out.
A lot of guys just don't pay attention.
You know, I found one of the best ways to not miss signs is to try to anticipate. Do a little managing in your head and tell yourself, well, is this a hit and run situation? Is this a steal possibility? Then you can look for that sign from the third base coach. Don Slott, who gives a lot of signs, steps in. Don Slott and Jamie Quirk at this point appear to be the catching duo with the Yankees, but I think a good case can be made for Bob Guerin.
I like Bobby Guerin. I know he's been in the minor leagues for the last 10 years. He's had a short stint with the Yankees, but he is a good defensive catcher. He's got a good arm. He's got a better arm than either Don Slott or Jamie Quirk. If indeed Dallas Green decides to carry 3 catchers, they can use Don Slott as the designated hitter. So he's got some moves in that catching department that he can make if he carries 3.
And I guess the main thing right there is if he carries 9 pitchers or 10 pitchers. Right now, Tom Glavine about to deliver a 1-0 pitch. Good fastball by the young left-hander. Evens the count 1-1. 2 men are out. We're in the bottom of the first inning here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Beautiful minor league facility where the Fort Lauderdale Yankees play, and a tremendous spring training home for a major league team, the New York Yankees. Just about every ball club that you talk to that comes to this facility enjoys playing on it, and what a treat after playing in West Palm Beach where the Yankees played yesterday.
Randy Velarde thinks so.
Called strike, and it's 1-2. Don Slott, a .283 hitter last year for the Yankees. One-two pitch delivered by Glavine, and he blows it by Slott. High fastball, and that'll do it for the Yankees in the first inning. No runs. They had 1 base hit. They leave 2, and after 1 inning of play here in Florida, the Yankees nothing and the Atlanta Braves nothing.
This is MSG.
Dave LaPoint pitching to Ron Gant, the third baseman for the Atlanta Braves, and what a good one he is. No score. We're in the top of the second inning. LaPoint with a 1-0 changeup, and it's outside. 2-0. Ron Gant didn't start the year with the Braves last season, but it didn't take him long to call him up, and that's why. Hard shot to center field. Gant has himself a single. He was their second baseman last year. They felt they could move him to third, open up some other spots. When you can hit, they'll find a spot for you.
No doubt about it. Dave LaPoint got the ball up in the strike zone once again, and Gant hit a BB into center field. LaPoint's the kind of pitcher that has to keep the ball down in the strike zone.
You made a good point, too, earlier about the Yankee pitching staff, and you think of LaPoint and Hawkins and possibly Tommy John. A lot of balls are going to be put in play. So you need that defense.
And he's also, LaPoint, the Yankee starters do not have good moves to first base, but they've got to be persistent over there to give Slot an opportunity to throw these guys out. They've got to keep them close.
Matt Stark pops one high in the air. Will Mattingly have a chance? Yes, he does, as he calls off Don Slot. And alertly going over to cover first base is Dave LaPoint. Mattingly and LaPoint getting together on that one. And talking about the pitchers making the moves, the one thing to LaPoint's credit that he can do, he has an average move to first, but when he delivers to the plate, he alters his motion. He'll lift the leg one time, next time he'll shuffle toward the plate. And he did that on the play where Don Slot was able to throw out Lonnie Smith in the first inning. Stepping in to bat is Geronimo Baroa, the right fielder for the Braves. And he shows us that he likes to swing that bat. He let it all out on that pitch.
Actually, the Braves would like to play Murphy out in right field. If you take a look at Ron Gant at first base, they cannot do that unless they come up with a center fielder.
I think at this point they're pretty much set on Murphy in center field this year.
Unless Roberto Kelly comes over.
Well, I think those talks were extended a little. Bobby Cox, the general manager of the Braves, had said that Wednesday or Thursday, if nothing had happened, that was going to be it. But with Sid Thrift taking over things, there might be something going on. There goes Gant, the throw by Slot. He's got another. Don Slot is 2 for 2 in throwing out Atlanta Brave runners, and he's gotten some speedy runners in Lonnie Smith. This time Ron Gant, who's not happy by the call.
We talked about the quick move with his feet and the quick release that Don Slot has been working on. Gant got a pretty good jump, but the delivery was good. You can see Steve Sachs come up to meet the ball and then quickly put the tag on Gant. Watch Don Slot quickly up out of that crouch and the quick snap throw down to second base.
Well, you talk about a team effort. LaPoint allowed Slot to make that throw. Sachs came to get it, put a good tag on. Baroa hits one high in the air to left field. Ricky Henderson on the track. What a grab. Ricky Henderson showing his versatility, the things he can do, going to the track and making a fine catch. That'll do it for the Braves here in the second. No runs, one base hit, nobody left on. After an inning and a half here in Fort Lauderdale, the Braves nothing and the Yankees nothing.
It started with a death.
You believe in God?
Yes. But it's going to end with a bang. Don Johnson, his sheriff's deputy Jerry Beck.
White supremacy.
The system won't back him up.
White and pure, Mr. Beck.
But he knows 7 men who will. Dead Bang, rated R. Starts Friday, March 24th at a theater near you.
Now, tickets for all Yankee home games are on sale at the Yankee Stadium Advanced Ticket Windows. Open 7 days a week from 9 to 5 and at all Ticketmaster ticket centers. You can also charge tour tickets through Ticketmaster by calling the numbers you're seeing right now in New York and New Jersey. Steve Sachs will step in, the battling type second baseman, batting in the number 6 spot tonight. First pitch by Glavine misses for a ball.
Well, Steve Sachs will be A big addition to this ball club. He brings a lot of spark over from the Dodgers. He can play second base. He can swing that bat. He's a good second place hitter, but as you mentioned earlier, Tommy, Dallas Green is taking a look at Steve Sax now in the 6th slot, but he can hit the ball to right field. He can move the ball around, and I think he's really going to help the Yankees this year.
He's going to have to run hard. It'll have to be a good play by Blauser, and Blauser makes a play. Steve Sax, who gets down the line in a hurry. Jeff Blauser, the young shortstop, knew that, and he charged that ball and released quickly.
Blauser did the only thing that he could do, and that was charge the ball. He got it on the short op, but he stayed with it and then made the nice off-balance throw to first base.
And showed a strong arm, didn't he?
His stock is going up.
Mike Pagliarulo, whose stock maybe went down with the trade the Yankees made prior to this ballgame. Charlie Hudson going to Detroit for Tom Brookins.
No doubt that if Brookins was here right now, he would be playing against this left-handed pitcher.
To Hopper for Lemke, and an easy play.
Pags throughout his career has had a lot of problems hitting left-handed pitching. And Brookins, 35-year-old veteran, he adds a lot of experience over at third base, and also hits from the right side.
Well, a good case. Pags hit 170 against the lefties last year. Alvaro Espinosa will step into bat. Espinosa getting a look at shortstop, and he's probably excited about playing tonight as opposed to Randy Velarde, who had to play yesterday in West Palm Beach. He goes after the first pitch, and it's a foul ball.
We probably ought to mention that Velarde yesterday up at West Palm Beach playing shortstop, he had an awful lot of problems at shortstop. Of course, that infield at West Palm Beach with 2 ball clubs playing there, Montreal and Atlanta, the infield is not the best infield in the world. In fact, it's probably the worst infield in the world. And Randy really had a hard time.
So speaking of stock in ball players, I guess the stock of Espinosa has gone up a little bit.
Absolutely. Either that or they want to get an opportunity to take a look at Espinosa. I mean, they've got the shortstop problem. They know that. And really the only reason that they're kind of excited about what's going to happen at shortstop is because Wayne Tolleson is hurt once again. Tolleson could relieve some of that pain from Dallas Green if he was healthy, but he's not.
Well, Espinosa does not show a healthy swing as he misses that good fastball by Glavine, and quickly the Yankees are gone in the 2nd inning. So we've played 2 innings in Fort Lauderdale. No score in the game. The Yankees and the Atlanta Braves. Second baseman Mark Lemke batting off Dave LaPoint as we go to the 3rd inning. No score, and LaPoint has missed a couple times, and it's 2-0. Mark Lemke has a bat that's on fire right now. 7 hits in his last 13 at bats. He misses that pitch by LaPoint, makes the count 2 balls and a strike.
Well, he is a pleasant surprise. Obviously, he's only 23 years old. Got a little sniff at the major leagues last year with the Braves.
He hits one pretty well. 2 hopper for Steve Sax. Sax turns it into an out, and that's one of the things that people question Steve Sax every now and then about, his defense. LaPoint not thinking about that. He's saying, hey, a good play. But Sax in 1983 had his problems, but he has really worked hard, and everybody I've talked to in the National League tells me that over the years he's improved greatly as a second baseman.
Well, I've been impressed with Steve Sax since I've seen him play down here in spring training.
Top of the order now for the Braves as Lonnie Smith steps in.
The Yankees lose a great player that was a great player for the Yankees in Willie Randolph. I've never seen anybody that could turn the double play like Willie Randolph could.
High hopper off the glove of Pagliarulo and on into left field. Lonnie Smith with his turn, and when Lonnie Smith hits one like that, you have to get it into the infield quickly. And I think, Bobby, just one more thought on Sax and Willie Randolph, that if you're a Yankee fan and over the years you've watched Willie Randolph, don't expect a Willie Randolph type second baseman defensively when watching Steve Sax.
Just one of those things that happens as you take a look at this youngster Jeff Blauser. Happens to everybody in baseball. Can't get together on contracts. Next thing you know.
Espinosa to Sachs, who's upended by Lonnie Smith. But Steve Sachs hangs on, and the Yankees get the force. 2 men down.
Nice play by Lonnie Smith and taking Sachs out at second base. He thought he had an opportunity to go ahead and complete this double play. You see Espinosa backing up on the ball, and that's what allowed Lonnie Smith to come right down on top of Steve Sachs, but he hung in there.
Tell you what, with all the injuries that the Yankees have sustained this spring, I almost closed my eyes when I saw Lonnie Smith making that slide at second base. 2 men out, and the batter, Gerald Perry. Looking back over the years, Bobby, who do you recall as a good hard slider and a clean slider into second base?
Don Baylor, Frank Robinson. I think everybody was a little bit leery of Frank Robinson.
Gerald Perry sends one to center. He makes it out, and that'll do it for the Atlanta Braves here in the 3rd inning. They get a base hit. They leave 1 runner. We've played 2.5 here in Fort Lauderdale. No score, the Yankees and the Braves.
When we played for Oakland, we did not appreciate losing.
Our motto was, just win, baby.
Yeah, but now we just like to play a quiet game of pool and drink a few cold Miller Lights. Lights brewed from the ground up, so it tastes great.
Not like some watered-down version of a regular beer.
Your turn, Otis.
Hey, you cheated.
So?
So, nice shot.
When it's Miller Lite, less filling, tastes great.
Well, observing things tonight here in Fort Lauderdale, general manager of the Atlanta Braves, Bobby Cox, in the blue shirt, kicking back and relaxing.
My old roommate. When we were with the Yankees, Bobby Cox and I ate a lot of cheeseburgers together.
Still are, I understand. Breaking pitch to Stan Jefferson is a strike, 0-1. No score. We're in the bottom of the 3rd inning. The New York Yankees and the Atlanta Braves. Stanley Jefferson trying to nail down a spot on the Yankee 24-man roster. A switch hitter, and that helps.
Well, with that shot that we got of Bobby Cox, we know that Sid Thrift and Bobby Cox are not talking on the phone right now. Maybe they're using hand signs.
Jefferson pops one in the air. Second baseman Lemke out, but right fielder Geronimo Baroa calls him off, and that's the play to do.
Sid Thrift has also said, just talking a little bit more about the shortstop situation, since it seems to be so important around the Yankee camp, is that he says they're talking to other ball clubs, maybe 12 other ball clubs, about their shortstops, or about shortstops that are available that could help the Yankees. So it's not just the Atlanta Braves and Jeff Blauser.
Well, one thing that is a certainty, Ricky Henderson will be in left field. He's 1 for 1 tonight with his sharp single to left. And the first pitch misses, ball 1. Ricky with 794 career stolen bases. Number 3 on the all-time list. 1-0 off speed has Ricky fooled. That evens the count, 1-1. I'm Tommy Hutton with Bobby Murcer here in Fort Lauderdale on our initial MSG cable cast.
Feels good, too.
Sure does. It's like waiting in the wings. Have to get it going every once in a while. 2-1 now to Ricky Henderson. Glavine with another pitch that has Ricky swinging and missing for strike 2. 2-2.
Ball club puts their thinking caps on after the season is over with, and they put their ball club together. They decide exactly what they're going to do for the coming year. They come to spring training and they have to change their entire thinking of what's happened here with the Yankees now. But Dave Winfield gone down,
and not a lot of time to do it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And now the season is right on top of them. Ron Guidry having to have the elbow surgery. Probably Winfield will have to have some back surgery. Dallas Green, alongside Dallas Green there, just to the right of Dallas Green, left on your screen, is Charlie Fox, who is a right-hand man. in the dugout with Dallas.
A play for Lemke. He'll handle it and unload. 2 men down. Tom Glavine retired the Yankees 1-2-3 in the second inning, and he seems to have settled down a little bit. The Yankees have just 1 hit off the left-hander. Kneeling there, resting on one knee, is Bruce Dalcanton, the pitching coach, who probably thinking the same thing. Gee, this young left-hander settled down. I guess Tommy Hutton just said that. Roberto Kelly takes one. 1-0. Roberto Kelly hit into a fielder's choice his last time up. Stole second base. Pops this out of play and evens the count. But then with runners at first and second, Mattingly was the runner at first on a pitch that was missed by Gary Ward, the hitter. Mattingly took off as if it were a hit and run, and Kelly was caught between second and third. It appeared that he missed the sign. One popped out of play. You know what's amazing? So many times in a spring training game you'll see a player showcased. Well, this is the interesting situation about tonight. You could actually say the 2 players showcased, Roberto Kelly and Jeff Blauser.
No doubt the Atlanta eyes are on Kelly. The Yankee eyes are on Blauser.
Tom Glavine fires a fastball up high.
What did they used to fine you for missing signs? Can you remember some of the fines?
Well, in the early days, it wasn't a lot, maybe $5, $10. Did he go around? Yes, he did. Home plate umpire Ken Kaiser saw it that way, and that's all for Roberto Kelly. Yanks again go 1-2-3. 3 quick innings have gone by, and there's no score in this ball game.
With the Baltimore Orioles Sunday at 1 and the world champion Dodgers Tuesday afternoon at 12:30. And then stand by as we follow the Yankees north for their '89 stadium debut April 1st in a Bronx exhibition battle with the New York Mets. Yankee baseball on MSG. Look to us for greatness.
Any favorites? He goes left field, center field, and this time right field.
And LaPoint got behind Murphy 2-0, and he challenged him with a fastball, and Murphy lines it down the right field line. He's not the kind of guy that you want to fall behind on in the count very often and to have to challenge him with a 85-mile-an-hour fastball.
So for the 4th straight inning, the Atlanta Braves have a base runner. And Dave LaPoint will have to try to solve things. He'll work to Jody Davis now. Gotta like LaPoint's attitude, though. He's a casual guy. Doesn't really seem to get uptight too much.
He'll work real good around the Yankee land, and if he doesn't get uptight.
Oh, yeah. He misses with that pitch to Jody Davis.
One of the things that has become a problem is the fact that players come over to the Yankees, and once they get involved in the press and what goes on with the Yankees, they're not able to handle it. If you take a look at Murphy down at second.
1-0 pitch to Jody Davis. Ball 2.
Begins to affect them, and once they start thinking about that, the next thing you know, they can't play baseball anymore.
Jody Davis can play the game of baseball. A long-time steady catcher with the Chicago Cubs. Jody Davis knows Yankee skipper Dallas Green. LaPoint not sure on what pitch to come with to Davis.
And once again, LaPoint has fallen behind the hitter 2-0.
Davis appeared to try to send one the other way. Sometimes you don't expect that out of an RBI guy, but that time Davis really gave himself up.
No outs, a man on second base. No score. Trying to move that runner to the third base if you don't pick up the base hit. That's just good fundamental baseball as far as I'm concerned.
Any way you can get on that scoreboard first.
A
A little looper out back of second, and Davis has the base hit, but because of the way it was hit, Murphy had to hold for a moment to make sure the ball got by the shortstop, Espinosa. So the Braves have runners at first and third, nobody out. A pitch that fooled Jody Davis. He was out front, but he's strong enough. He was able to get enough of it. Talking about signs, Ron Gant taking a long look at Roy Matika, his third base coach. Ron Gant had a base hit in the second inning. He's 1 for 1. There you see the power. 19 home runs last year for the Braves. And if you're a hitter with any kind of power, you like to hit in Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta.
And you like to hit in these situations, men on first and third and nobody out. And a left-handed pitcher out there that can't strike. I mean, you can't throw the ball by you.
And with this situation, early in the game, the infield will play for that double play ball, but you have to do it quickly because Gant has speed. 1-0 pitch, fouled off, 1-1. There's a look at Roy Matika, who now stares in to get the sign from the Braves bench, be it from Russ Nixon, Braves manager, or perhaps one of his coaches. Possibly Bobby Wine. Nothing's the score. We're in the top of the fourth inning, but the Braves are threatening. 1-1. Gant hits it hard, but it will go foul. That's what you call getting that bat head out there quickly.
Well, LaPoint wanted to get in front of Gant in the count. 1-2 now. It's a hard way to get 2 strikes on a guy.
Yeah, LaPoint doesn't take himself seriously, though. He says, I don't throw hard enough to break a pane of glass. They save money when I pitch. Don't have to use the radar gun. Missing with a changeup, and it's 2-2. Guess you know you're in trouble when that pitch doesn't register on the radar gun.
Well, the Yankees thought a lot of him because they signed him to a 3-year contract. The free agent.
2-2 pitch to Gant, a check swing. Mattingly charging. He'll come to the plate. Good heads-up play by Mattingly. Slot. And Pags will try to nail down Murphy. The tag put on by the Yankee first baseman at the home plate area. And quickly Mattingly calls timeout and says, hey, let's stop this action. We got an out.
Super play by the Gold Glove first baseman Don Mattingly, and they worked it perfectly too. Low check swing. Gant did not want to swing, but he got a piece of the ball anyway. Mattingly alertly throwing into slot. Now the rundown starts. Murphy saw that he was a dead duck, so now he tries to get in the rundown so that the runners can move up. But the Yankees played it perfectly, and they kept the runners at first and second.
Well, there has been a missed sign tonight, but the Yankees doing that rundown play correctly help out Dave LaPoint. And maybe will bring a little smile across the face of Dallas Green. Matt Stark missing that pitch, and it's 0-1. Matt Stark, the designated hitter tonight. He's a catcher who came over from the Toronto Blue Jays organization. Played in Knoxville last year and hit .266. No score. Top of the fourth inning. Braves at first and second. 1 down. Stark hits one off the hands. Should be an easy play for Ricky Henderson in shallow left field. It is, and they're 2 down. All of a sudden, looking at a first and third no-out situation. LaPoint 1 out away from working out of this jam. But Geronimo Baroa thinking of other things. Baroa 0 for 1, flied to left field in the second inning. And showed us that he's not afraid to have some big swings. Braves have 6 base hits. The Yankees have 1 hit. But it's a tie game, 0-0. LaPoint misses with a slider inside for ball 1. 1-0. Dave LaPoint now pitching for his 8th Major League Ball club.
You call him a journeyman?
And he's only 29 years old.
Well, he's still got a few more to go.
Off the hands. Bags with a diving catch. Oh, what a play by Mike Pagliarulo to get LaPoint out of the jam and rob Geronimo Baroa. Braves are gone in the 4th. Couple of hits, no runs. 2 left. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. No score.
Can you picture the Rangers winning the Stanley Cup? Well, now you can with Madison Square Garden Home Video's acclaimed history of the New York Rangers, Tradition on Ice. Here's what the critics are saying. Truly a lot of fun, WCBS TV. A must for Ranger fans, New York Post. Every Blue Seater will wear out his VCR, Gannett Westchester. One of the most stirring hockey videos ever made, the New York Times. Fill your home video library with all the triumph, the tragedy, the great wins, and the near misses. See the all-time All-Stars, Ranger Hall of Famers, and the legends who came through in the clutch. They're all here, brought to you by Sharp Electronics. Tradition on Ice, a 62-year history of the New York Rangers, is now available at all area Sam Goody stores. It's a treasure trove of the best Ranger memories, so don't forget, ask for it now.
Sports action, Knicks, Rangers, Virginia Slims tennis, boxing, and now the Yankees. MSG Network. Look to us for greatness.
Replay, but we're going to get a look at Mike Pagliarulo making that fine play that ended the inning.
Well, Dave LaPoint has to have the good defense, and certainly he gets it from Pagliarulo at third base here. Nice job of Dave LaPoint pitching out of that jam in the 4th.
All right, Pags, there you go. Bottom of the 4th, no score. Don Mattingly walked his first time up. Yankee first baseman with a .311 batting average last season, an 18 home run year, and 88 RBIs. Glavine misses with the pitch, and it's 2-0. Mattingly was up with Kelly at second base last inning, and now sends one high and hard, right field, and it's gone. Don Mattingly, 2 ball games in a row now, has homered for the Yankees, and twice off left-handers. Neil Heaton yesterday, Tom Glavine this evening.
Well, I was working with Mattingly a couple of days ago with his swing, and looks like that he well, you don't have to work with Don Mattingly. He works hard at his hitting, and I'll tell you what, the last couple of games, Don Mattingly is back, and he's back with the long ball.
Well, it'd only be appropriate that you work with him every now and then, because wasn't it Don Mattingly that was called up when Bobby Murcer retired?
Absolutely. I gave the kid his break.
Gary Ward, the hitter. Yankees with a 1-0 lead now, even though they've been out hit. Braves have 6 base hits and the Yankees have 2. But when one of those is a long ball with the bases empty, that's why you have a 1-0 lead. Ward misses that pitch, and it's 1-1. Tom Glavine, who was a fine hockey player in high school, was actually drafted by the Los Angeles Kings. Missing with a fastball, and it's 2-1. So you have an athlete such as a Dave Winfield, who is drafted in many sports. Tom Glavine, drafted by the Braves and the LA Kings.
We would give you an update on Winfield, but we don't know where he's at. He's somewhere in the United States.
What he has done is gone to other physicians to get second and third opinions on that back problem. He is checking out other specialists across the country. Gary Ward chops one to Blauser, scooped up, and tossed to first. 1 down.
Well, if I take the Yankees statement right, they are letting Winfield get his own second and third opinions, and after he gets those, they're going to let him make the decision on whether he should rehabilitate it during resting it or having the operation on his back.
Well, those are the options, either rehabilitation with exercise, complete rest, or surgery. Don Slaught, if he has legs, he might beat it out, and it's bobbled by Ron Gant. Now, I'll show you my thinking here on this, Bobby. If I'm a scorer, I see this guy's a catcher. How many infield hits do catchers get? Base hit all the way.
No matter what?
No matter what.
Well, that was a base hit all the way, only it was a swinging bunt. Gant was playing back at third. The only chance he had was to make a clean pickup and then an off-balance throw to first base, but that didn't happen.
And a new position for Gant, who played second base last year with the Braves. Speaking of second base, here's Steve Sachs. Glavine noting the speed of Sluggo as he ran down that line, tossing over there to try to keep him close to first. 1-0 lead for the Yankees. We're in the bottom of the fourth inning. Hope you enjoyed our scorecard show, the pregame with Greg Gumbel and Lou Piniella. They will be back on the postgame show, and Greg Gumbel will be in for the 5th and 6th inning doing the play-by-play.
Steve Sachs is an excellent hit-and-run man, and with the speed of Slaught at first base, Dallas Green may want to take advantage of that. Slaught can also handle that bat real well.
That's right. This is one of those situations that we were talking about. As a runner or a hitter, you try to think ahead, and if you're Slaught, maybe you'll look for that hit-and-run sign. Sachs hits it, and Slaught runs. Hard single by Steve Sachs. It wasn't a hit and run, but Sachs got it all. So the Yankees, after getting just one hit off Glavine through the first 3 innings, started things with the Mattingly home run, an infield base hit by Slaught. Now Sachs' sharp single to center. Mike Pagliarulo with a dirty uniform. What's new?
Pags wouldn't feel right unless he had quite a bit of dirt on his uniform.
Last time up for Pags, he hit a ground ball to second, so he's 0 for 1. Pags coming into this spring training ball game, just a 158 batting average. A home run and 9 RBIs. This is that high slider, and it's 0-1. There's Don Slaught at second base. Glavine trying to work out of a jam. I wonder if he's pitching out of that metal that's hanging from his neck. It'd be a tough way to pick up the baseball. Goes with the breaking pitch again, and it's outside.
Well, if the batter, if it is bothering the batter can tell the umpire, and the umpire can make him Glavine take that gold chain off around his neck. But,
Not quite of the oil can Boyd variety.
No. Or the Mr. T variety.
1-1 fastball. 2-1 now to Pags.
I don't know about you, but that would bother me. That chain, that gold chain hanging around Glavine's neck. That would bother my concentration as a hitter.
I've seen umpires tell pitchers to change their sweatshirt, maybe with a tear in it or something.
That there is flagrant.
Throws a breaking ball and gets it in for strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You think it's gold field, or you think it's solid gold?
Well, probably since he's just a 23-year-old youngster and was 7-17 last year, it's gold field. 2-2. Pags, hard grounder, might be a double play. Blauser gets the feed and turns it over to Perry, and it is a 4-6-3 double play. But the Yankees score, have 3 base hits and a runner's left. After 4, stay tuned. Greg Gumbel will be in with the play-by-play. The Yankees lead 1-0.
Sports Illustrated celebrates 25 years of best-selling swimsuit issues with a first-time ever video edition. All the glamour and excitement that make the annual swimsuit issue the most popular edition of the year. You'll meet Christy Brinkley, Elle Macpherson, Stephanie Seymour, Carol Alt, Cheryl Teagues. And featuring a look at the intensive selection process that chose this year's cover girl, the beautiful Kathy Ireland. It's a tribute to 25 years of photographing the world's most beautiful women. The tape also includes 2 fast-paced music videos featuring this year's models at their best. It's the 25th anniversary Sports Illustrated swimsuit video. Here's how to order.
To order the swimsuit video, call 1-800-468-2600 or send just $19.99 plus $3.50 shipping and handling to Swimsuit Video, P.O. Box 1880, Department 17, Alexandria, Virginia.
Well, on Saturday, April the 1st, the Yankees host the Mets at 1:30 in the first of 2 games to be played in New York between these crosstown rivals. There are no more tickets for the April 2nd game, so if you want to catch an early glimpse of the '89 Yankees and the Mets, plan to be at Yankee Stadium on Saturday, April the 1st at 1:30. And hurry up and get those tickets because they're running out fast. As we go into the top of the 5th inning, Greg Gumbel joins us for the play-by-play. And it was Don Mattingly yesterday who put the Yankees out in front with a home run in the 4th inning, Greg.
Back-to-back home runs off of left-handers on consecutive days. He hits off Montreal's Neil Heaton, and Mark Lemke starts things off with a foul ball. I want to congratulate you, Mr. Murcer. Everybody in town was talking about showers and thunderstorms tonight, and you said it's not going to happen.
Oh, yes, absolutely. That's one of my hidden talents is if I could say the word.
So I just want to say nice call, Willard.
Thank you.
Fly ball right field. And Stan Jefferson pulls it in for out number 1.
I'm not going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole.
No, I figured you wouldn't. Here's Lonnie Smith, who's been picking on Mike Pagliarulo tonight. Ground ball that Pagliarulo bobbled for an error in the 1st inning and then chopped one over his head at 3rd for a base hit. Off-speed pitch. Pagliarulo will knock this one down and throw him out. So 1 out of 3 chances. Pags finally catches up with him, and that's out number 2.
Well, this is the style that you're going to see the Yankees play when Dave LaPoint pitches. He's going to have to rely on his infielders and outfielders, more so his infielders and the outfielders, but they're going to have to make the plays behind him. If they start making miscues and they start giving the opposing team 4 and 5 outs an inning, they're going to get hurt.
Here's Jeff Blauser, 0 for 2. Ball 1. You heard from him in the pregame. And talking to Jeff about that infield over at West Palm Beach where Randy Velarde committed a couple of errors, Blauser said, you got just as good a chance to field the ball if you close your eyes. Pops this one back at first in the short right field. Sachs coming over, calls Mattingly off and makes the play. So LaPoint puts them up and down in order here in the top of the 5th inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Yankees with a 1-0 lead.
I'm the big daddy of the greatest bar game of all time, Fuse Ball. And us Fuse Ballers drink Miller Lite. Miller Lite's a less filling beer, brewed from the ground up. It's not a watered-down version of regular beer. And Fuse Ball is a great game, because when a guy loses, everyone knows he loses.
When it's Miller Lite, less filling, tastes great.
I think we have a loser. Hey, bare-handed!
What's it like pitching in the series?
Like climbing a mountain, like going to battle. No matter how many games you win, how many awards you get, you never do it alone. It takes teamwork. All the guys giving their best. That's what makes the Sporting News a winner, too. Teamwork. 40 top baseball writers covering every team in every city every week.
The pros know the Sporting News delivers great news updates, full team-by-team reports, and thousands of stats.
More stats and inside stuff than any other sports weekly. So get the Sporting News for the best baseball coverage, plus weekly coverage of football, basketball, and hockey. Find out for yourself why over 725,000 sports fans get the Sporting News Weekly and get smart for themselves.
Call 1-800-533-1800 and get 56 issues of the Sporting News for 4 payments of just $9.66. You'll save 69% off the cover price, 40% off the regular subscription rate. Call now 1-800-533-1800. 1-800-533-1800.
More Yankee baseball comes your way here on the MSG Network Sunday, March the 26th. That's when the Yankees will host the Baltimore Orioles here in Fort Lauderdale. Yankee Scorecard pregame show at 1 o'clock, and then the Yankees and the Orioles. Yankee baseball 1 o'clock on the MSG Network. Please note, some cable operators will not be offering Yankee baseball on MSG to their subscribers. Contact your system for confirmation. Bottom of the 5th inning, Alvaro Espinoza, Yankee shortstop tonight, leads it off. Went down swinging to end the 2nd inning in his only other plate appearance. He'll be followed by Stanley Jefferson and then Ricky Henderson. Bobby, you certainly know the sense of humor that players have. When the Braves arrived at the ballpark today, the press, big contingent of press, was there to bombard Jeff Blauser as Espinoza fouls it back. And one of the Atlanta Braves players walking in behind Blauser said, "Here's your shortstop for the next 10 years."
Not if Espinoza has anything to say about it. Of course, he's got some pressure on him now. But that's what the player has been looking for all of his career, the opportunity to work himself into a lineup, play every day. Espinoza all of a sudden surfaces as one of the candidates to take over the shortstop job. And that's pressure.
0-2 to Espinoza. Hit in the air to center field where Murphy draws a bead on it. And that's out number 1. 1 down here in the bottom of the 5th inning, and here's Stanley Jefferson, who flied to right in his 0 for 1. Another good crowd here in Fort Lauderdale. They pack them in night after night after night.
It's about 7,000 every day, every time the Yankees play here at Fort Lauderdale. They just love Yankee baseball here at Fort Lauderdale. Beautiful place to watch baseball.
Jefferson with a strike. Here's a good look at the complex here, Ft. Lauderdale Stadium. And some of them starting to make a little noise as Jefferson looks at a ball, 1-1.
I mean, 80 degrees and eating a hot dog and eating some peanuts, watching the Yankees and the Braves play, you can't beat it.
Fouled away. This is the first of 4 exhibition games that you'll be seeing here on the MSG Network. We mentioned the Orioles coming up on Sunday afternoon, and then the Yankees at Vero Beach against the world champion Dodgers on Tuesday. And we'll head back north and bring you the Yankees and the Mets on April the 1st from Yankee Stadium before the Yankees move on to Minnesota to open the season. And aren't you glad we'll be indoors in Minnesota?
That early I am.
One and 2 to Jefferson. Looks at strike 3. Strikeout number 4 on the night for left-hander Tom Glavine. And it brings up Ricky Henderson. You know, Russ Nixon really likes some of the young arms on his staff.
Oh, he's got some good young arms. This kid right here, Glavine, they would like for him to come up with another pitch, the curveball, to go along with a good fastball. He throws the ball up around the high 80s in his fastball, and he's got a good changeup, as we've seen tonight. But he needs to come up with the curveball.
Henderson looks at strike 1. Zane Smith, coming off the elbow problems, had a good outing a few days ago for Atlanta. They like Dave Smoltz. They like Pete Smith, who was terrific after the All-Star break last year. Henderson takes strike 2. A lot of people forget, with the bad start that the Orioles had, that this Atlanta team lost its first 10 games of the season. And Russ Nixon took over for Chuck Tanner in about the 3rd week in May.
How many years has the Atlanta Braves been in transition? Seems like forever.
Never quite got to where they wanted to be, and as you mentioned, you and Tommy were talking about, now they're looking to move Dale Murphy and get a few more youngsters in. Ground ball right side. Perry missed it. Nice play, backing up by Mark Lemke with the pitcher covering, and that retires the side. So 3 up and 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left. We're at the end of 5. The Yankees lead at 1-0. Let's get you caught up to what's happening in the world of sports at the MSG Sports Desk. Here's Bob Page.
All right, thank you, Greg. Good evening, everybody. A couple surprises so far tonight in college basketball. Out at Denver, the NCAA West Regional underway between Seton Hall and Indiana, and the Pirates are beating the Hoosiers 38-33 with about 4 minutes to play in the opening half. Nevada, Las Vegas versus Arizona will follow that. And at Lexington, Virginia leading Oklahoma 50-49. They're already in the second half. Michigan against North Carolina is the second game of that doubleheader. In the NIT at Columbus tonight, St. John's losing to Ohio State 34-30 in the first half. OSU, you may remember, beat the Redmen here at the Garden much earlier this season. More sports right after this. In hockey tonight, the Devils losing at Boston 3-2 in the second period. Out on the island, the Islanders in Minnesota tied 1-1 at the end of the first period. Now let's go back to Fort Lauderdale and Greg Gumbel.
Knicks fans will have the chance to purchase 2 tickets to each of the 1989 Knicks playoff games via a mail-in lottery. To be eligible, type or print your name, address, zip code, daytime phone number on a postcard and send it to Madison Square Garden, New York Knicks, JAF, Post Office Box 1755, New York 10116. Postcards must be received no later than midnight, March the 29th. A limit of 5 entries per person, and winners will be notified by mail. Gerald Perry leads off the top of the 6th inning, and the count is even to him at 1-1. Tommy Hutton back in, joining us now. You have a nice trip around the ballpark?
Yeah, but it's crowded.
Yes, it is. Off-speed pitch, Perry swings and misses 1-2. Perry, the number 3 hitter in the lineup, 1 out of 2 tonight. A single in the first inning and a fly to center in the third.
I wanted to get that hot pretzel, but it was too long of line.
Check swing. Right back to LaPoint, and Perry only half-heartedly runs this one out for out number 1.
Worst thing about a swing like that is that you don't want to run down the line and let people see that you were the one who hit it.
And it sounded like he broke his bat on this, too.
Yeah, he'll take some heat when he goes back into the dugout.
Russ Nixon says he's looking for 20 more victories this season for the Atlanta Braves, improving on their season of 54 and 106 last year. Murphy follows this one straight back.
Well, the Braves thanking the Baltimore Orioles for losing 107 games. Braves with a couple of rainouts last year they couldn't make up.
You can't exactly say the Braves were in the hunt last year, finishing 39.5 back of the Dodgers. Outside, 1-1. Dale Murphy rumored for much of the spring to be headed away from Atlanta, and for a while perhaps to the New York Mets. Just didn't happen. 2-1.
Wake up in the boxes. Let's go. $1 a bag of peanuts.
As Bobby said, the Braves constantly in transition, but they look like they're beginning to turn the corner.
It takes time, and they're just hoping for that time. But as we have talked about, they do have some fine young arms.
Shot down the third. Paliarulo bobbles it for a moment, then throws him out. So 2 out now. And here's Jody Davis. Only scoring in this game came in the bottom of the 4th inning. Don Mattingly hitting his 2nd home run of the spring season in 2nd in 2 days.
Thank you.
And for the 2nd consecutive day, tagging a left-hander for it.
This guy right here, Jody Davis, is going to help that young staff, too. A veteran catcher.
They're hoping Jody didn't put in too much time behind the plate in his 9 years with the Chicago Cubs, because he caught an awful lot of games.
Yeah, to carry that even further, too much daytime behind the plate.
Davis up the middle. Espinoza waits for it and then throws him out. So that'll do it for Atlanta. The top of the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. Roberto Kelly will lead it off when the Yankees come up in just a moment. This year, the Yankees are offering a greater variety of ticket plans, and they've got one just for you. Why not call the Yankees Group and Season Sales Office at 212-293-6000. They're also ready to help you plan a stadium outing for groups of 25 or more. Give them a call at 212-293-6000. Left-hander Tom Glavine getting ready to work the bottom of the 6th inning. And out in the bullpen, getting set to come in next inning, is number 38, Jim Acker.
Now, Jim Acker, a veteran. He's 30 years of age. Spent some time with the Toronto Blue Jays, Atlanta Braves. He's a guy they use as a setup man, hopefully for Bruce Sutter, who is making that comeback, and he has had some problems and has missed some time this spring.
One of the Bruce Sutter traits when he was in his prime in Chicago and St. Louis was that he could come in day after day after day, and just when he began to show that maybe he could come in and do some of the things he used to do, or maybe he might have been a semblance of himself, and they found he couldn't do it every day. Here's Roberto Kelly. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 1st and struck out swinging in the 3rd. Jeff Blauser before the game voicing pretty much the same sentiments that Randy Velarde, Roberto Kelly, and any player rumored to be involved in a trade. Sometimes it's almost incidental whether or not or where you go. It's just whether it's going to happen or not. Just do it one way or the other rather than have it up in the air. 2-1.
Yeah, you want that waiting to cease. You want to know where you're going to be when the season starts. So does Roberto Kelly.
Swings on the 2-1 pitch, and the count is even at 2-2. Fans have seen a pitcher's battle here so far tonight. Dave LaPoint has held Atlanta scoreless on 6 hits. Glavine has allowed 1 run and 4 hits, and got strike 3 called on Kelly. Speaking of Mattingly, here he is.
Yeah, Tom Glavine has done it with a little more flair, a little pop on his fastball. Dave LaPoint has done it with the craftiness and has nibbled a little bit and battled out of some tough innings.
Mattingly looks at it down and low, ball 1. And when you talk about a crafty left-hander, that's always a classic phrase in baseball, but that's really what Dave LaPoint has become. 2-0.
Got to figure if Dave LaPoint flies, he flies on those no frills. You know, he doesn't go first class. Just no frills. That's the way he does it.
Mattingly may get a good pitch to hit here. Took it down low, ball 3. Well, Glavine walked Mattingly in the 1st inning. Decided to give him something to hit his first time up, and you know what Mattingly did with that, and now he's got him 3-1. Hit down the left field line to run the count full at 3-2.
Yeah, on the Mattingly home run, Glavine probably said, well, here he is leading off the inning. I'll challenge this guy. He's never faced me before.
What harm could it do? Full count now to Mattingly with 1 out, and stays outside, ball 4. So Mattingly reaches on a base on balls for the 2nd time tonight, and here's designated hitter Gary Ward, who sees the Dave Winfield injury as perhaps a chance to come back into the Yankee spotlight.
Well, I would say as it stands now, anyway, according to Dallas Green, it would be Gary Ward and Mel Hall in a platoon situation in right field.
Outside, ball 1. And in case you haven't heard, the Yankees today acquiring 3rd baseman Tom Brookins from Detroit in exchange for right-hander Charles Hudson. Brookins, 35 years old. Pop foul.
Yeah, you're getting a guy in Brookins that can play 3rd but also short and 2nd, primarily a 3rd baseman, and he'll help out against the left-handers, fill in for Pags, and he's a player who has been on some winning teams. He's played for Sparky Anderson, and he'll bring something good to the clubhouse too, I think.
First deal engineered by the new head of baseball operations for the Yankees, Sid Thrift, and Sid will join us after the game. Outside, 2-1.
You gotta like Sid Thrift. One of the first things he did when he walked into the clubhouse was go up to Nick Priori, the Yankees equipment man, and ask him for some chew. Stuffed that red man in the back pocket, and he was ready to go. Make some deals.
Did you chew when you played?
No, I didn't.
Down the right field line. On the run, Baroa makes the catch. In foul territory for out number 2. And that brings Don Slaught to the plate. Struck out swinging in the first and singled in the 4th. You know, I thought one of the worst mistakes I ever made was to ask one of the guys out in the Chicago Cubs bullpen to teach me how to chew. You don't want to eat for a week after that.
We'll teach you one night just before you go on the air. How about that?
Two out, man at first. Strike 1. 6th inning of work. Glavine still popping the ball pretty well.
Yes, he is.
Strike 2. Mentioned the importance of Jody Davis and working with a young staff, and he'll be a strong addition for it. He'll improve the pitching staff by several games just by his presence. Slaught swinging on the 0-2 pitch and fouling at his feet.
Exactly right, and that's what the Kansas City Royals are hoping in this year with Bob Boone to handle their staff, who is pretty good as it is, and to work with Bob Boone, such as the likes of Mark Gubazar, Brett Saberhagen. Those youngsters are going to really find what it's like to throw to a top-notch catcher.
Oh, 0-2 to Slaught. Mattingly at first with 2 out. And foul tipped it at the feet of Jody Davis. Yankees say that when Dave LaPoint is finished tonight, that Hipólito Phenia will see some action. To Slaught. High and tight, 1-2. Yankees got a good outing yesterday from Andy Hawkins. Dave Righetti worked his 2nd full inning in spring training. Off the fish, short center field. Murphy comes on and makes the catch. So the Yankees strand Mattingly. We're at the end of 6. They lead it 1-0. Bobby Murcer will be back to join Tommy Hutton as we continue from Fort Lauderdale right after this.
This is MSG.
This copyrighted telecast is authorized under rights granted by the New York Yankees solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Yankees and Madison Square Garden Network is prohibited. And while I said that, Ron Gant hits a routine fly ball to center field, all in one breath. Off the new pitcher, Hipólito Phenia. There's a look at Hippo. Phenia working for the 6th time this spring. And I think he adds something to the staff if he sticks on this ball club. Bobby Murcer, a left-hander, can pitch in situations to get that left-hander out.
Well, he is a specialty pitcher. Talking about pitchers, Dave LaPoint, who is now out of the ball game, going 6 innings, giving up 6 hits and no runs, through a total of 66 pitches through those 6 innings. But Phenia, getting back to him, he's what you call your specialty guy. He can get a left-hander out. You bring him in to get a tough left-handed hitter out. We saw last year when Phenia was pitching against the Boston Red Sox. Mark Stark, the designated hitter, he's 0 for 2 tonight, but Phenia did a good job of challenging those left-handed hitters in crucial situations.
His 1-1 to Stark is up high. Remember, a couple of those situations he came in and faced Boggs, as you said, got him out.
Phenia came over last year when the Yankees traded Estrada. That was a Lou Piniella deal that brought Phenia over.
Hard hit by Matt Stark, and you can say goodbye. Ricky Henderson does. He just turns around and watches it. Matt Stark has tied it up. A 1-1 ball game on the designated hitters. Long shot to left field.
Very few times you can tell whether a home run is gone when it leaves the bat. There was no doubt that that ball was gone when it left the bat of Stark.
Matt Stark had 11 home runs last year playing for Knoxville. And right now, Geronimo Berroa is the batter. So we have Geronimo Berroa and Hipólito Phenia facing off at each other here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. A 1-1 ball game. Top of the 7th inning. Phenia missing for ball 2. Dallas Green seemed relaxed after that home run shot. 54-year-old native of Delaware. Berroa sends one hard to center field. Kelly on his horse, and he'll have to play it off the wall. So a couple of long balls by the Atlanta Braves. One a home run by Stark, and Berroa putting a charge to center field. He has himself a double.
Kelly gave it all he had in center field. That ball is just a fastball right down the middle of the plate. And Berroa sends it off the center field wall. The wind is completely calm right now at Fort Lauderdale Stadium. Before the game started, there was quite a bit of wind. It was blowing straight out, but certainly the wind did not affect that baseball.
Mark Lemke, the hitter. Lemke leads the Braves in hits this spring with 17. 1-1 tie. One out. And the runner at second base is Geronimo Berroa. A run on 8 hits for Atlanta. Yankees have 4 base hits with their run, 1 run. One 0, and Lemke hits it hard but foul. Lemke is a switch hitter. That's one of the things that the Braves like about him, and he's trying to make that jump from Double-A ball to the major leagues. Played in the Southern League last year for Atlanta. So one way to impress your manager is drive in the go-ahead run. He takes up high, and it's ball 2. Now Bobby Wine seated on your left, like Bruce Del Canton, and then Russ Nixon, or is that his twin brother Roy? Roy Nixon, Russ's twin brother, came to spring training a couple of weeks ago and put on a uniform, sat right next to him on the bench.
Certainly wasn't Richard.
Fouled off, and it stays 2-2. So Russ Nixon was really trying to confuse Tommy Lasorda. The Braves were playing the Dodgers at that time, and had his twin brother Roy next to him, and probably had Roy relaying signs. Berroa with his lead at second. 2-2's the count to Lemke. With 1 down. Hard grounder, but just foul. Had it been fair, Pags was there for it. Would have been a tough play. Count stays 2-2.
The runner down at second base, Berroa, takes a pretty good lead. You can see the golf gloves in his both hands. Now, a player a lot of times will do that, so when they slide, they do the stand-up slide. They don't put their hands down on the ground. A lot of times players will do that to keep from jamming their wrist when they do slide.
Phenia with a couple of looks and change of speeds. That was a good fork ball by Hipólito Phenia, and he strikes out Mark Lemke. 2 down. That's the pitch that he has to use to get the right-handers out.
No doubt about it. He's tough on left-handers because he slings the ball and comes from the left side, but from the right side, That pitch right there, that little breaking ball where he takes a little bit off of it, he had Lemke way out in front. He just doesn't have that good fastball where they can challenge those right-handed hitters all the time.
I'll tell you what, the bottom fell out of that pitch.
Yes, sir. That was a good pitch.
And as you mentioned, he slings that ball, and that's why he's tough on the left-handers. Like a John Candelaria. You and I were talking the other day about times you were walking to the plate with a big smile to face Mickey Lolich.
Yeah, really.
2 outs. Baroa still at second base for Lonnie Smith. Have to make sure, if you're the Atlanta Braves equipment manager, to get the uniforms right. The Braves have Lonnie Smith, Zane Smith, and Pete Smith. Lonnie looking for his second base hit tonight. 1 for 3. Reached on an error in the first inning and singled in the third. Grounded to third in the fifth. Lonnie Smith, the owner of 3 World Series rings. Hits a line shot to left, and it'll drop in front of Ricky Henderson with 2 out. Baroa scores easily. Lonnie Smith with his second base hit puts the Atlanta Braves on top 2-1.
Lonnie Smith will help this Atlanta Brave ball club. You can see that Henderson decided to back up and let the ball go. He could take a chance. When you come in, once you commit yourself, you've got to keep coming if you've got any opportunity, any chance of catching that ball. And he decided to go ahead and back up and let the ball fall in front of him. Obviously, if the ball gets past him, Lonnie Smith probably has an inside the Parker, but that's just a judgment play on the outfielder.
And with 2 out, Baroa off and running, made it easily to the plate. There's 1 out in that situation. You check Baroa, and he's probably thinking Ricky might have a play, so he has to hold, probably doesn't score. But he did, and the Braves have picked up 2 here in the 7th and lead 2-1. Blauser with a swing and a miss, but the throw gets Lonnie Smith, and Don Slott, for the 3rd time tonight, he's 3 for 3 in tossing out Atlanta Brave would-be base stealers. 2-1, the Braves have taken the lead. We'll go to the 7th.
I'm known for my gentle and charming disposition. So when Ernie here ran out of Miller Lite, I didn't get mad. Nah. We calmly discussed the situation. I told Ernie I'd drink light because it's brewed from the ground up so it tastes great. Not like some watered-down version of a regular beer. We reached an understanding, and he quickly rectified the situation. Mom always said I had a way with people.
When it's Miller Lite, less filling, tastes great.
Well, we're back in Fort Lauderdale, and the Yankees trying to get back in the lead. Yanks led 1-0, but here in the bottom of the 7th, after the Braves scored twice in the top half, they trailed 2-1. Atlanta with 9 hits. Yankees have 4 as a new pitcher, Jim Acker, works to Steve Sachs. Jim Acker, a veteran. Here's a look at his spring record. Trying to get a hold of a spot on the Atlanta Braves staff. Good outing for youngster Tom Glavine. Threw 90 pitches in his 6 innings. Gave up 4 hits and the 1 run. Steve Sachs, it's a high fly ball. And it'll be handled by Dale Murphy. Sachs now 1 for 3. Look at Sachs. Routine fly ball. He's halfway to second base, and that's the way you like to see it.
Well, the Yankees know that Sachs is a spark plug. Charlie Hustle sets an example for everybody. I mean, he's just a hard-nosed player. That's all you can't say anymore, because he's out there to win. And when he goes to the plate, he's there to get a hit every time. When he goes on the field, he's there to make the good play all the time.
Well, this guy runs everything hard, too. Mike Pagliarulo, and he'll get a single on this. Little flare out to left center field. Pags has a 1-out base hit. He's 1 for 3 now.
Pags is happy to see the right-hander come in.
And you can tell by that smile on his face. Possibility of a play here with Dallas Green sending Espinosa up there for the 3rd time. He's 0 for 2. You trail by a run, you might think about something. This is where it pays to know your hitters. Espinosa squaring the bunt, takes it up high, ball 1.
I don't know why Espinosa would want to be bunting with 1 out. Stanley Jefferson, the 9th place hitter, coming up.
Acker back with an 0-1, again bunting, and this time it's back to the mound. Acker will make the only play he has, but it's bobbled by Lemke. He wasn't sure where he was going to throw it. Jim Acker. He had to wait for Lemke to get there and then uncorked one that was low. Lemke couldn't find the handle, and everybody's safe.
Well, Acker could not pick it up cleanly, and when he throws it to second base, Lemke couldn't hold on to it. So it works out for the Yankees now. They have runners at 1st and 2nd, and only 1 out at Jefferson at the plate.
Stanley Jefferson 0 for 2, flied to right field and was called out on strikes. Both times facing the left-hander, Tom Glavine. Check swing foul, and it's 0-1. 2 runs and 9 hits for the Braves, a run and 5 hits for the Yankees. Jefferson trying to pick up that spring training average. Stanley Jefferson had a tough time of it last year with the San Diego Padres. In 49 games, hit just 144, and then went down to Las Vegas in the Pacific Coast League and fared a little better. Hard shot under the glove of the 3rd baseman Ron Gant. Pags coming to the plate. Here's the throw, and he scores. Quick snap throw to try to get Espinosa, but the Yankees get back in it. On the error by Ron Gant, Pags scores from second. It's a 2-2 tie.
A couple of miscues, and the Yankees are right back into this ball game. You see why 3rd base is called the hot corner? Inside out swing by Stanley Jefferson, and it really looked like it caught Gant by surprise. Nice hustling play by Lonnie Smith, but he just had to come too far. The Yankees have a tie score now.
Well, when you've been a second baseman for an entire season, now you have to play that slicing hard shot off the left-hander's bat. It'll give you problems. Still 1 down, and here's Ricky. Up high with a slider, ball 1. Ricky Henderson tonight, 1 out of 3. But look at that. Yeah, he has been hot this spring.
Well, the Yankees hope that he continues to stay hot when the season starts. They need Ricky Henderson. They need his offense.
1-0 pitch, and Acker gets the fastball in. Strike 1.
When Ricky wants to, he can almost steal a run for you.
Okay, this puts the pressure on the infield too. You have pretty good speed at second, Espinosa. Stan Jefferson flies at first, and you have Ricky Henderson at the plate. Up high, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. This was not what Jim Acker had planned on when he was warming up in the bullpen. The 2-1 on the way. Foul ball. See what kind of hands Lee Elia has. Pretty good. Former infielder.
Got a good eye, too. He checked that baseball and threw it right out of play.
Former manager of the Philadelphia Phillies and the Chicago Cubs.
There's a few former managers on this coaching staff.
I'm wondering who Dallas is going to hand over the lineup card to if he ever gets tossed from a ball game. Well, he has his choice.
Yeah, he certainly does that.
Lee Elia, Charlie Fox, Pat Corrales, Frank Howard.
The only guy that hasn't managed is John Stearns. Well, Billy Connors.
Foul ball. 2-2, it stays. Foul ball back our way, and the only one who had a good beat on it was our assistant up here, Nicky. Good eyes. One down in the bottom of the 7th. Yankees trying to take a lead. As Ricky watches it outside, ball 3. 3-2. One down. They going to be going, Bobby?
I would just imagine.
Try to stay out of that double play. See if Dallas Green has Espinosa and Stanley Jefferson running. They're going. 3-2 pitch. Up high, and it's ball 4. Not an easy pitch to take. No. 3-2. If you get that fastball about letter high, it's hard to stay away from, and Ricky was able to do that. We're going to have a pinch hitter for Roberto Kelly. It'll be the young switch hitter, Bernie Williams. And he has had a good spring. Statistic-wise, the 241 average, a little misleading, but he's done some things that have really pleased Dallas Green. He's been able to hit and run. He's played the outfield well, and he seems to know how to play the game of baseball for a youngster, 20-year-old.
Yeah, he has opened some eyes up here in this Yankee camp. The only thing that right now is against Bernie Williams is the fact that he just doesn't have enough time in organized baseball. He needs a little bit more seasoning.
So the Yankees have the bases loaded, a 2-2 tie, and it's up to Bernie Williams, who takes a strike, going 1.
With all the problems the Yankees have had already this spring with the injuries to just about everybody, this is really a sigh of relief to see a youngster like Bernie Williams and see the kind of tools that he has and the...
He's a little late on the sinker by Acker, and quickly it's 0-2. There's a look at Espinosa, the runner at third base. Stanley Jefferson at second base, and over at first, Ricky. Oh-2 delivery, and it's up high, 1-2.
They almost caught Espinosa sleeping down there at third. I'm not sure who had their eyes closed, either Gant or Espinosa. Jody Davis with a quick snap throw. I think he almost picked his third baseman off.
So you have a veteran catcher back there. You have to be live. 1-2. Swung on and foul tipped into the glove of Jody Davis. Big strikeout for Jim Acker. And the Yankees failed to pick up that runner. Another one of the things you don't like to see happen a lot during the course of a baseball season. We have a runner at third base with less than 2 out. In this situation, the bases are loaded. They like to put the pressure on that defense and try to put the ball in play. Don Mattingly up there and takes it outside. Ball 1. Mattingly's 1 for 1 tonight. He's walked twice and hammered a home run in the 4th inning. His second home run in 2 ball games.
There's no place to put Mattingly now with the bases loaded. So Acker's going to have to pitch to him.
1-0 is outside, 2-0.
Acker basically a sinker slider type of pitcher, so he'll be trying to run that ball down and away from Mattingly. He'll probably get Mattingly to swing at a bad pitch, but already Mattingly has got the upper hand. Got the count 2-0. And you're going to see the concentration on Mattingly's face. Well, if you've ever wanted a guy to drive in an important run for you, you just ask Don Mattingly to do it.
Well, Acker may not give him a chance. Ball 3, 3-0.
He may save 3 runs or 4.
2-2's the score. Mattingly has already walked twice.
Look at Mattingly peeking down to Elia to see if he can get the hit sign.
It's like he almost didn't want to look.
Right.
And it's ball 4, so Acker doesn't come close, walks Mattingly on 4 pitches, and the Yankees take the lead 3-2 as Espinosa trots home. Now, when Mattingly's up there with 2-0, then 3-0 if he's swinging, that makes him probably a 400 hitter at that point. Acker's still not out of it. Working to Gary Ward now. Ward looking for his first base hit tonight is 0 for 2. Gary this winter in his home in California had a batting cage installed and tried to work on that swing, and the good Southern California weather, and basically tries to hit everything up the middle. 1-0 breaking pitch is missed. 1-1.
Probably during the season you would see a switch with Dallas Green probably going to the left-handed hitter, but Kenny Phelps, who has been bothered by a sore left ankle, he may not be ready.
Phelps saw a little action yesterday in West Palm, but just at the tail end of the ball game, and Mel Hall's available too. But Dallas right here wanting to get a look at Gary Ward against the right-hander.
Maybe a showcase.
Grounder to short. Blauser to Lemke, and that does it. Yankees are gone in the 7th, but they take the lead, score 2 times on a base hit, a couple of errors, and that does it. After 7, the Yankees lead the Atlanta Braves 3-2.
Sports action, Knicks, Rangers, Virginia Slims tennis, boxing, and now the Yankees. MSG Network. Look to us for greatness.
We're going to have more baseball for you here in the spring on the Madison Square Garden Network. March 26th, the Orioles here in Fort Lauderdale. Then we'll travel up to Vero Beach, Dodgertown. Yankees and Dodgers. April 1st, it'll be the Mets and Yanks at Yankee Stadium. So you won't want to miss those. On the Madison Square Garden Network, I'm Tommy Hutton with Bobby Murcer. Stepping in is Jeff Blauser to face Hipólito Phenia. Yankees lead 3-2. Blauser trying to reach on a bunt, and I think he'll do so. The only hope right there was for Phenia to make the grab. Good play by Blauser with the left-hander falling off toward the third base side to push that bunt out toward second.
Phenia, you can see falling off to the right side. Blauser taking advantage of it, bunting the ball to the right side of Hipólito Phenia. Actually be Pena's left side, but it worked out for him. He wanted to get it over just a little bit more. He didn't want to really put it that close to the mound, but nice play by the youngster shortstop, Jeff Blauser.
Blauser trying to reach in a 1-run ball game. Yankees lead 3-2. That'll set things up for Gerald Perry. Perry had a base hit his first time up and is 1 for 3. Phenia with that sidearm delivery gets a strike into Gerald Perry. Did you flinch on that one?
I was looking at Gerald Perry's earring in his left ear. I think that's an earring. Thought I saw something shiny in his left ear.
Phenia with the nod and the 0-1. Breaking ball, ground ball, base hit for Perry. He saw that hole on the right side and went right after it. 2 straight hits for the Braves as Blauser goes to second, Perry at first. And now coming up is Dale Murphy, but taking a trip to the mound is Dallas Green.
Blauser getting out of the way of that Perry grounder.
You know, the thing I like about Blauser, Bobby, is that he played the ball game against the Yankees up in West Palm Beach, and everybody was zeroing in on this youngster. They'd heard so much about him. Booted a ball, threw one away, had 2 errors earlier in the game, then came back, had a home run, had a double, and another base hit. So he showed me something, and I think he showed the Yankees something that particular day. Hello, little new pitcher for the Yankees, right-hander Lance McCullers will come on to face the big right-hander Dale Murphy as Phenia will head to the dugout. Spring training, you don't see as many pitching changes as you do during the regular season because pitchers want to get their work in, but in this particular case, Dallas making the move because this guy right here, Lance McCullers, will be called upon many times in these situations.
And McCullers basically a fastball slider pitcher, and he brings it up there pretty good.
Well, we told you about the exhibition schedule on MSG. We've got basketball. There's more Knicks basketball coming your way on the MSG Network. Saturday at 8 o'clock, see the Knicks in action against the Atlanta Hawks. That's the Knicks versus the Hawks, Saturday at 8 o'clock, right here on the MSG Network.
Look this way, Dale. Come on, thank you, Jody. All right, thank you.
Lance McCullers has gotten an opportunity to work here in the spring.
Paid money for your autograph last year.
Last time out for McCullers was in the ball game the Yankees played yesterday against Montreal, and he came on and pitched the last inning and picked up the save. allowed 1 base hit. He gave up a base hit to Andres Galarraga. It was a funny story because McCullers, after the game, just shaking his head and saying, I'm glad I'm in the American League now because Galarraga wore me out when I was pitching for the Padres.
Well, McCullers came over with another pitcher, Jimmy Jones, and also Stanley Jefferson, in exchange for the DH last year, Jack Clark, and Pat Clements, the left-handed pitcher who went to San Diego.
Well, I'm sure Murphy and McCullers paired up against each other a few times. Nobody out. Runners at first and second, and the Yankees lead 3-2. We're in the top half of the 8th inning. Murphy has 2 hits tonight, and he may have 3, and he may have 3 RBIs. High shot, left center field. A 3-run home run for Dale Murphy, and the Atlanta Braves have taken a 5-3 lead. Well, McCullers may be shaking his head now about Dale Murphy, as well as Andres Galarraga.
Well, no doubt that Murphy, as you take a look at Dallas Green, who just made the pitching change, but Murphy knows McCullers is a fastball pitcher, and he was waiting for this fastball. First pitch over the left center field wall, 3-run shot, the big one for Murphy.
Now it's Jody Davis popping one in the air. Jamie Quirk, the new Yankee catcher, is there, and Quirk does a job on it. 1 down. Now, McCullers just the other day gave up a grand slam home run to a youngster with the Minnesota Twins, Paul Sorrento. So the long ball hurting McCullers here in the spring. And the long ball putting the Braves ahead. 5-3 they lead. Atlanta has 12 base hits. The Yankees with 5. Ron Gant steps in. Gant probably the happiest guy around. That was his error. Ground ball between his legs that let the Yankees tie the ball game. Now he's up there and his club leads by 2. Nobody on base for McCullers. And an 0-1 slider is outside. 2-1. 1-1 on the way. Backing Gant off, and it's 2-1. Phenia, who McCullers relieved through 20 pitches, but he'll be charged with 5 runs as Gant has a good rip at that ball and fouls it back. So Phenia's line, 1 inning pitched, 5 hits, 5 runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. 2-2 to Gant. The slider has him looking. Call strike 3. 2 are gone, and the batter will be Matt Stark.
A lot of times McCullers, with his fastball and his slider, he doesn't take quite enough off of his slider. And what I'm saying is that the fastball and the slider are basically the same speed, so the hitter really doesn't have to make that big of an adjustment. About 1 out of every 3 breaking balls he throws is a good one.
One of the reasons, Bobby, that I always keep an eraser is the fact that I mentioned 5 of those runs charged to Phenia. 4 of those runs are charged to Phenia. The 1 to McCullers. 2-0 to Stark, who homered off Phenia in the 7th inning. Not a very good spring average, but impressive with that home run in the 7th. Outside with a pitch, and it's 3-0 now to Matt Stark. Stark kind of looks like a DH, doesn't he? You probably guess a catcher, too.
You know, he looks like a little bit Joey Meyer from the Milwaukee Brewers.
A right-hander. Meyer, a right-hander. They're hoping that he can supply some pop out of that DH spot.
Yeah, the Milwaukee Brewers are hoping that Glenn Braggs is healthy. His shoulder's all right. He can also supply a lot of power.
Another foul ball, and it's 3-2. That'll be a good ball club this year. The Milwaukee Brewers, they're hoping that Higuera's ahead of schedule. They had some back surgery, and they didn't expect him until May, but I just read the other day he may pitch in his first turn when the season starts. 3-2 hit down the right field line, but it'll slice foul. Count stays.
I don't think they want to really rush Higuera. Obviously, he's doing well right now, but he'll probably end up missing the first month of the season. But now they've got Nieves, who's got the slight tear in his rotator cuff. They've got a lot of injuries over there on their ball club.
3-2 slider misses. Ball 4. Stark draws the walk with 2 out. He'll be at first base. And the batter will be Geronimo Baroa. How important does Lance McCullers' role with this ball club become with Dave Righetti, who has not pitched all that much this spring?
Well, I think if Rags cannot go to the post and he's not doing that well, it'll be up to McCullers and Righetti to be the stopper. I think right now Dallas Green is planning on McCullers being the setup man for Righetti. But if Righetti is having some problems, he may just want to flip-flop.
And I'm sure there would be times that McCullers would be called on against a right-handed hitting club when you had 3 or 4 righties coming up in a row.
Of course, when Righetti was throwing well and he had that slider and a good fastball, it didn't make any difference whether they were right-handed or left-handed.
You bet. We're in the top of the 8th inning. The Braves have scored 3 times on Murphy's 3-run homer. They lead 5-3. 2 are out as McCullers continues to have problems with the strike zone.
If you don't have that good stopper today on your ball club, you just don't have a chance to win. Baseball is it's a specialty sport now. You've got the specialist. You got the guy like McCullers, who's the setup man for Righetti, who is the stopper. And Rags has been counted on for so many years and done such a great job since switching from the starting rotation to the stopper role in the bullpen. He threw well the other day. He's had some, Righetti that is, threw well yesterday, in fact. He's had some soreness in his left shoulder. And he pitched in only his 2nd inning yesterday against the Montreal Expos, and he looked like that he threw fairly easily.
Well, Dave Righetti with 163 career saves. 3-1 pitch. Baroa laying on it and lines it. Hard shot to left field. And you have to put the reins on Baroa when you have Matt Stark running ahead of you. Well, Baroa alertly picked up Stark as he rounded first base, and Braves continue to hammer away at Lance McCullers. Still 2 out. But you watch baseball games day in and day out, and when you see the pitchers fall behind, that's exactly what the hitters do. Hit number 13 for the Braves as Mark Lemke now will bat left-handed. Russ Nixon seeing he has a chance to pick up another run. Well, send a pinch runner out there for Matt Stark. It'll be Albert Hall. I see you gain about 30 yards right there, and you lose about 45 pounds with that switch.
Well, right now, Nixon only wants to gain about 30 yards.
Albert Hall can fly. Still 2 out. Lemke hitless tonight, 0 for 3. First pitch, Lemke after it, pops it in the air. Pags will wait for it. And he's got it. And the Braves are gone in the 8th inning, but they pick up 3 runs on 4 hits. The big one, a 3-run homer by Dale Murphy. After 7.5 in Fort Lauderdale, the Atlanta Braves 5 and the New York Yankees 3. Now you can get more of the latest scores, stats, and sports news on MSG Network. MSG Sports Desk with Bob Page has expanded to 15 minutes on Saturdays and Sundays at 11 o'clock. Watch MSG Sports Desk in its new longer weekend format. You can also watch the Sports Desk right here on MSG right after the ball game. With the Atlanta Braves leading 5-3, stepping in to hit for the first time tonight, Jamie Quirk facing the right-hander Jim Acker. The Yankees had led 1-0 through 6 innings on Don Mattingly's home run. Quirk goes after the first pitch. Hard shot to left. Tommy Gregg, who just came into the ballgame, moves back to the track and pulls it in. 1 away. After 6 on that Mattingly home run, Yankees with the 1-0 lead. Then Atlanta took a 2-1 lead, scoring twice in the 7th inning. One of those runs coming on a Matt Stark long ball. The Yankees took a 3-2 lead with 2 runs in the 7th. Braves came back with 3 in the top of the 8th, and that's the way it stands. They lead 5-3. Sachs taking a strike. 0-1. Steve Sachs tonight is 1 for 3. Had a base hit up the middle in the 4th inning. Big breaking ball by Acker is outside. Tom Glavine went the first 6 innings for Atlanta and pitched well. Acker with a backhand stab turns it into an out. 2 quick outs for the Yankees here in the bottom of the 8th.
It's one of the better breaking balls that Jack Acker has delivered since coming into this ball game, and Sachs hits it on the end of the bat.
You know, we were talking a little bit about the Milwaukee Brewers and some of the problems they've had. I read today the Oakland Athletics have a little problem in their camp. Jose Canseco had missed a lot of time with a sore wrist, tried to play the other day and injured it again and may miss more time. First pitch to Pags is a called strike. Pags 1 out of 3. Off-speed pitch. Pags sending it in the air out to the left fielder, Dion James. James with the grab, and the Yanks go 1-2-3 in their half of the 8th. 8 complete in Florida. The Braves have 5 and the Yankees have 3.
This is MSG.
Braves leading 5-3 here in the 9th inning as new Yankee pitcher Dale Mahorsic works to Dion James, and James promptly singles to right field. The split finger fastball that Mahorsic tries to throw to left-handers, that time he hung it, and Dion James is right on it.
Mahorsic also a candidate for a setup man as you take a look at his stats here in the spring. Been in 5 games and record of 1-0, 3.0 ERA, 9 innings pitched total with 12 hits. He has struck out 3, but basically the type pitcher Mahorsic is. Sinker, ball, slider, and once in a while he'll mix in that split-fingered fastball. But we got one of the guys in the ballpark this afternoon or tonight, Bruce Sutter, who actually he stamped the split-fingered fastball. He's the one that originally came up with it.
Yeah, he has a patent on that pitch.
Oh, and I'll tell you what, he was the best.
I'll tell you, I can remember trying to face him, and you tell yourself, go the other way, stay up the middle. He'd throw that thing, and you'd still pull that ground ball to second base.
Not everybody can throw it. You have to have long fingers, and you don't throw it. You throw the split finger, not like a fork ball. Fork ball was a ball that they used to wedge in their fingers, and a split finger, you just kind of overlap those long fingers, and you can throw it about 80 miles an hour.
Mahorsic trying to hold James close at first, showing the quick move to Don Mattingly, who now wants to talk things over. Sometimes the first baseman in this situation with nobody out, possibly thinking about a bunt. Braves might want to add on to their 5-3 lead. Mattingly might tell Mahorsic, I'm going to stay here. I may charge. If I charge, don't throw over. There he goes. And Blauser back up the middle. Mahorsic to Espinosa. Mattingly gets back to the bag, and it's a double play. And you talk about things that happen on the inner diamond. There was a good example.
Ball was hit hard by Jeff Blauser, but a nice stab by Mahorsic and a nice throw to Espinosa at short, who somehow eluded the runner. James, he was right on top of it.
Nice turn by Espinosa, and nice hustle by Mattingly to get back to the bag. All of a sudden, 2 outs. Gerald Perry, the hitter. The reason a first baseman goes to the mound is because he'll tell the pitcher he's going to charge. If he charges, he doesn't want the pitcher to turn and throw over to first. Maharsik missing, and it's 2-0 to Perry.
I swear to you, he's got an earring in his left ear. It's a diamond-studded earring. I think that's the first time I've ever seen a professional player, baseball player, with an earring.
And we mentioned a pitcher, though, earlier, Donnie Moore. Not on the air. You and I were talking during commercial break. Donnie Moore, a right-hander, or Lynn McLaughlin.
Isn't that a diamond-studded left earring?
Yes, it is. Lynn McLaughlin. That's what I'm thinking. A right-hander used to pitch for the Cubs.
I wonder if that means anything.
It means that he signed a good contract. It also means that it's 3-1. Nobody on, 2 out. Braves lead 5-3. Well, it also means that he's going to be out on this pop fly to pegs. And don't ever think you'll see Pagliarulo wearing an earwing. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. The Yankees will try to pick up some. They trail 5-3.
Well, Steve, how do you like the new pinstripe?
This is great. You know, you can really feel all that Yankee tradition when you put on these pinstripes.
There's only one thing better than Yankee pinstripes.
What's that?
A Yankee cap.
Oh, you got it.
On Sunday, April 16th, the Yankees host the Minnesota Twins at 1:30, and Texaco presents Yankee Cap Day. All fans at the stadium will receive a Yankee cap, compliments of Texaco.
The 1989 Yankees?
It's a whole new ballgame.
Well, what do you do when you're in Florida on a nice warm evening? Watch a ball game, describe a ball game, and shed your jacket. Have a good time. Mel Hall, the pinch hitter, as the Yankees try to get back in the ball game. Bottom of the 9th inning. Not much time left. First pitch is up high from the new Atlanta pitcher, Joe Baver. And there's a good look at, I was going to say the newest Yankee, but the Yankees did make a deal prior to this ball game. If you just joined us, Mel Hall takes a strike, 1-1.
Almost the newest Yankee.
Tom Brookins has joined the Yankees from the Detroit Tigers. Yankees send right-hander Charles Hudson to Sparky Anderson. 1-1 to Hall, and it's outside, 2-1. Didn't take Mel very long to hit a home run in the pinstripes. Hit one the other night in the ball game. It's the Baltimore Orioles. There's that home run swing, and he misses, 2-2.
Well, Hall, he's got some power. He didn't show it last year for the Cleveland Indians, but prior to last year, 87 and also 86, he had 18 home runs in both of those seasons. He adds some offense to this ball club, and that's what the Yankees are looking for.
Almost some offense there.
Yeah. He's had at least 70 RBIs in the last 3 seasons.
And the knock on Mel Hall is the fact that he's had so many problems against left-handers. Last year, he hit just 154 against lefties.
Well, he says, given a chance, he thinks that he can hit against left-handers, but I don't think Dallas Green's going to give him that chance. He's going to platoon him in right field, probably be Ward and Hall.
There has been talk, Bobby, about his arm, and mainly he's been a left fielder, but I think in Yankee Stadium, with the short porch in right field, it'll help him a little. Good pitch by Baver. Hall doesn't agree with Ken Kaiser. I don't know whether he's going to laugh or cry, but if you stare at Kaiser that long, you may have trouble.
Oh, just take a look at it. And the young kid, Joe Baver, he turned the ball over on Mel Hall and caught the outside corner.
Like Mel may have given up on that pitch. It dropped down right at the last minute. 1 down. We're in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Atlanta Braves lead 5-3. Stan Jefferson, the hitter, pitch outside, ball 1. Foul back, evens it out 1-1. Braves have 5 runs on 14 base hits. Dave LaPoint pitched well for the Yankees. When he left the ball game, he led 1-0. LaPoint went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits and no runs, no walks, and had a strikeout. 1-1 breaking pitch finds that inside corner. But the Braves put on their hitting shoes when Phenia and McCullers came into the game. Now it's up to Joe Baver to shut it down and pick up a save. 2-2's the count now to Stan Jefferson. All you want in this situation is to get that tying run to the plate, so if you get a runner on, the Yankees can do that. This is where Stanley Jefferson has to be extremely selective with his speed and with the importance of him as a base runner here. You don't want to chase anything out of the strike zone. He chases the strike, hits it hard, but right to the center fielder. Very blocker with the play, and there are 2 down. That's one way to keep the glasses on. Very blocker with that elastic band to keep the glasses on, and I'm sure they're not dark glasses. Did hear a player say he lost a ball in the moon one time. Ricky Henderson trying to keep it alive. 2 outs, he's the last hope. Ricky has a base hit. He's been to the plate 4 times, but he's walked once. He's 1 for 3. 1 for 3, and his spring average went down.
Yeah, some of the Yankees now beginning to stretch their innings play into 9 innings. Just a few more days, and the opening day will be here, the 1989 season. So this is the time that the players, the pitchers, everybody starts stretching it out.
Well, there'll be no more stretching out tonight. Ricky Henderson with a fly ball to right ends things here in Fort Lauderdale, and the Yankees in the bottom of the 9th go 1-2-3. So the final score here in Fort Lauderdale as the Atlanta Braves come south from West Palm Beach and defeat the Yankees 5-3, the final in Fort Lauderdale. Tommy Hutton along with Bobby Murcer back here in Fort Lauderdale, where the Atlanta Braves have come down and defeated the Yankees 5-3. I say come down. They headed south from West Palm Beach in a ball game that saw Dave LaPoint pitch well in the early part. He went 6 innings, had some jams, Bobby, but he worked out of them.
He had a jam in the 4th inning, but he pitched well, and he got some good defense behind him. Now, that's the kind of player that Dave LaPoint has to have. He has to have the good defensive play behind him. He's the kind of pitcher that's not going to strike out many hitters, as we saw tonight. He's going to put the ball in play, and he depends on his defense to pick him up.
You and I touched on that, too, during the game, the fact that the Yankees, with their pitching staff in fellows like Tommy John, even a John Candelaria, when he's not on his sharp game, he puts a lot of balls in play. You have Dave LaPoint, Andy Hawkins we've seen this spring, and you see some fly balls when he's pitching. And so the Yankees, with those type pitchers, need that defense.
That's probably the reason that Jeff Blauser's name has been bandied around quite a bit, with Rafael Santana going down at shortstop. And they're still really not sure whether Randy Velarde or Espinoza can really handle the 1989 season as their shortstop.
Well, it hurt, too, with Phenia and McCullers having their problems out of the bullpen. Phenia came in, allowed some runs to score. He's the losing pitcher tonight in the ball game. And Joe Baver came on to pick up the save. Oddly enough, the winner, Jim Acker, came in and gave up the lead. He gave up a couple of runs, and the Yankees took the lead. But again, the Yankees failed to win a ball game tonight. The Atlanta Braves win it 5-3, picking up 14 hits off the Yankee pitchers tonight: LaPoint, Phenia, McCullers, and Dale Mahorsik. Once again, the final score, the Atlanta Braves 5 and the New York Yankees 3. Up next is Sports Desk with Bob Page. And stay with us for the postgame report with Greg Gumbel and Lou Piniella. Our next cablecast is Sunday, when the Yankees take on the Baltimore Orioles at Fort Lauderdale Stadium, and it all starts with Yankee Scorecard at 1 p.m. So from Fort Lauderdale, I'm Tommy Hutton with Bobby Murcer, saying so long, and we'll see you at the ballpark. New York Yankees baseball has been brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's Miller Lite, less filling tastes great. And by the Tri-State Jeep Eagle dealers of New York, New Jersey, and Fairfield County, where you can always expect the best.
Good evening, everybody. Bob Page welcoming you back once again to the MSG Sports Desk. Seton Hall has definitely not acted like a team playing in the NCAA basketball tournament Sweet 16 for the first time ever. Tonight at Denver in the West Regional, the Hall on the verge of upsetting Bobby Knight at Indiana, leading the Hoosiers 76-63 with just 20 seconds left to play in the game. Hall will now meet the winner of tonight's other West game, Vegas against Arizona. That result probably still not as shocking, though, as what happened this evening at Lexington in the Southeast Regional, where Virginia defeated Oklahoma 86-80. One of the Cavs' top players in this game tonight, the backup quarterback from the football team, Matt Blunden, here giving Virginia a 7-point lead in the second half with this hoop. Terry Holland took Virginia the year after Sampson left to the Final Four in Seattle. You'll remember he could do it again this season. North Carolina and Michigan just getting underway in the second game of that Southeast doubleheader. Meanwhile, in the NIT, St. John's and Ohio State tied at 72 going into overtime. In NBA Final tonight, Cleveland defeated Milwaukee 102-88. Back after this. The Seton Hall game is now over. PJ and the Pirates win it over Indiana 78-65. In hockey, with the Flyers having clinched that final playoff spot in the Patrick division, both the Islanders and Devils playing meaningless games tonight. First of all, out on the island, New York leading Minnesota 2-1 as they play in the third period. 3.5 minutes to go in the second. 1-1 the score when Gerald Diddick's shot was stopped by Kiri Taco. Alan Kerr finally knocked it loose to Pat LaFontaine. What a season that guy's had in a depressing atmosphere out at Nassau Coliseum. Pat's 39th goal of the year. Meanwhile, at Boston, where the Bruins have had real trouble winning all this season, Boston leading the Devils 5-3 as they play also in the third period. We'll go to the Yankees post-game show coming up shortly with Greg Gumbel from Fort Lauderdale, and we'll be back with more from the Sports Desk at 11 o'clock tonight. See you then.
Welcome to the Yankee post-game report, everyone. The Atlanta Braves beating the Yankees tonight by a score of 5-3 as the Yankees drop to 11-11 so far this spring. I'm Greg Gumbel. Welcome back to Ft. Lauderdale Stadium. I'm with Dale Murphy of the Atlanta Braves. Dale had the 3-run homer to beat the Yankees tonight in the 8th inning. You've faced Lance McCullers before, so I assume that it wasn't much of a surprise what you got.
Well, I know he's got a good arm. He's got a good fastball. He's also got a good slider and changeup. And, you know, I know he's tough. I just happened to get a pitch to hit, but he's got me out his share of times. I know that.
The couple of the pitchers from the San Diego Padres have come over here to the Yankees as a group. What do you think of Lance McCullers and Jimmy Jones and Andy Hawkins?
Well, I thought, you know, Andy Hawkins is one guy that I think has improved every year. He seemed to throw harder and harder every year, and Jimmy Jones is a good young right-hander, and Lance McCullers, I think, is just one of the premier stoppers in the league, in our league anyway, and I never like to see any of those guys. You know, I'm kind of glad to see him go personally, but I didn't like to see the Padres get Jack Clark on the other hand, but I don't think there's any question they're going to help the Yankees out a lot.
All right, we're going to show our viewers the home run that you hit here tonight, Dale. It looked like you were expecting a fastball. What did you get?
Well, it was a fastball. You know, as I know, Lance has a good arm, and you almost got to be ready for a fastball and hope he doesn't throw one of his changeups or one of his sliders. And you know, he threw it. It was inside a little bit, I got it. I haven't been doing much this spring, so it felt kind of funny, to tell you the truth.
Probably with all the trade rumors and everything, it probably has been difficult. We wish you luck during the season, Dale.
Well, thank you very much, Greg.
Thank you. Dale Murphy of the Atlanta Braves. We'll take a timeout and come right back to Ft. Lauderdale Stadium with Lou Piniella in just a moment.